record this time as well. So we should be, yep, it looks like we're live. What's up, team? If you can see us, good news. We're about to go live. We just have to confirm that it's all, all happening properly. There we go. Yep, I can see it. Okay, so I'll share Yanni to the Unity Gym channels, and you can share to your channels. You can share to Twitter as well.
Yep.
If anybody's watching this, share it, please. That's what
absolutely.
we're trying to do here. To get that word out. On that page, shared. And that page. And I'll share it to the UMS app social channel.
Rock on.
Which is always a good idea. We're almost there, team. Okay. Community forums.
Okay.
Just one sec, almost there.
Rock on, guys. We're going to be talking about creatine, caffeine, and protein, optimal dosages for performance and physical health. And of course, this is off the back of last Friday's live stream. We got some really good follow-up questions from Ben Lodge. He's one of our tribe members in the UMS app. And on that note, if you want to check it out, unitygym.com. We're always welcoming new tribe members. We serve 36 to 45-year-old men who have been training for 2+ years best. That seems to be the sweet spot. And please like and subscribe if you do get something out of this live discussion.
All right, I've done it all. We're out there. And hey, Dave. Hey, Vinny. How are you guys? Vinny asking, wondering if you could speak to the difference between whey protein and whey protein isolate. Yep, we will definitely get to that question. So, with all that said and done, I will show both of us. How are you, everybody? If we haven't met yet, my name's Rad Burmeister. That's my brother Yanni Burmeister. We are the co-founders of Unity Gym and the UMS, where we make you strong, flexible, and fit so you can perform better at things like calisthenics and MMA and yoga and weightlifting. And today we're talking about nutrition. So we're going to be, we've had some really good questions last week on, we've recently partnered with VPA Australia. It's a supplement company here in Australia that has the best quality supplements. There's a link in the description of this video. If you use that link and enter the code RAD10, RAD10 at checkout, you can get 10% off your order. And they are, they're our absolute favorite supplement company. Quality of supplements is really important to Yanni and I. And off the back of introducing that partnership, we had some really good questions. And that's what we're here to answer today. So Yanni framed it before. But if we dive straight in, why don't we take it from the top, Yanni, and we'll answer Ivy's question first, which is, Ivy has said, she's given us some praise on some of the stuff that we're doing. And then she said, question, there is also collagen protein on the market, and apparently they are good for skin and joints as well. What is your thought on collagen protein?
Yeah, okay. First first of all, before I dive into this, uh, I would strongly recommend, if you're not already, to follow Dr. Lane Norton. He is an absolute beast when it comes to muscle protein synthesis. It's what he did his PhD on, and it's a topic that I can certainly scratch the surface on. But if you really want to dive deep into the science, Lane's done so many great videos on YouTube and there was one specifically on collagen protein. I think last year, maybe I have a very, very poor memory in regards to time periods, so it could be a couple of years ago. But I remember watching it last year, I think, and I think it was about an 8-minute video. And yeah, he speaks very specifically about protein qualities and in regards to collagen protein. I just picked some collagen protein up myself recently from VPA because they stock it. The thing with collagen protein is that it is 100% doesn't produce the same muscle protein synthesis results as a good whey protein. It doesn't have high enough amounts of leucine and the branch chain amino acids that seem to be really, I don't know if responsible is the right word, but the catalyst to that on switch for muscle protein synthesis. And, quite frankly, nor do any of the vegan proteins. There is a vegan protein that's being produced at the moment that I believe is going to be made from, I think it's corn, and that is going to have more leucine in it. Don't quote me on that. That's you have to do some research. I believe it is coming from corn though, and that's in the pipeline. But up until now, there's been very few alternative protein sources other than whey that have enough leucine. So that doesn't mean that you can count them out, because for me personally, whey protein seems to trigger something in my body where I get spots, I get pimples on my head, on my neck, on my shoulders. It's really strange. I don't really know why it is. I've never spoken to anyone who's definitively been able to tell me why, but I'm sensitive to dairy products, okay? It doesn't mean that I don't eat any at all, but it's definitely not a daily occurrence for me. So I use a vegan sort of, it's a composite. It's made from pea protein and a couple of other different types of protein. It has a little bit of soy in it, I think, and a bit of corn and a bit of rice and things like that. But I fortify it with leucine. I add leucine in its isolated form, which is very, very important. Now, on the other end of the spectrum is collagen protein and beef collagen protein. It is, there are some, I think, people and probably some research that you could find that does suggest that it's really good for health, good for skin, this and that. When Lane speaks about it, he sort of says, yeah, like there's no really conclusive studies that show that it's worth the money that it costs, and it costs a lot of money. So for me, with things like collagen protein, yes, there is. I subscribe to the belief that it is really good. There are health benefits. However, it's a if you've got the budget for it option. If you don't have a huge supplement regime budget, and you're trying to build out a supplement regime, then I would absolutely start with a high quality whey protein first. And if you can stomach it and it's totally fine, some people report that it does upset the tummy, or if you've got IBS, it might give you diarrhea. There's just certain people who have really got have given themselves a bit of an uppercut. Choices, recreational drug abuse, alcohol abuse, antibiotics, sustained or prolonged antibiotic use. There's a number of different reasons why you can have, mucked up your gut microbiome and upset your stomach. And then, yeah, you might run into some sensitivity issues with whey protein. And if that's the case, then I do urge you to explore other ways to get your protein consumption in, because that's the number one goal here, to meet your daily dietary requirements. And if you're exercising, like I know Ivy is, she's part of our tribe and uses the UMS app, then she needs to be making sure that she's substituting. What do you call it?
Supplementing.
Complementing her exercise regime with dietary protein consumption. And it's very difficult to get enough dietary protein. It can be done, but when we start to talk about budget, if you're trying to get it through good quality, high quality animal products like meat, and you've got to be, you really should be consuming high quality meat products, grass fed or, non-farmed fish and things like that, then it gets really expensive. And then looking at a collagen protein or a whey protein or a vegan protein supplement makes it a lot more cost effective. There was I recall when I was under the sort of mentorship of the late Charles Poliquin. He used to be a big proponent of cycling different proteins, because he used to say that protein supplements or dietary protein, if you overconsume the same thing for too long, you can become quite sensitive to it. And I've certainly experienced that myself with, I used to eat a lot of Greek yogurt as a dessert, substitute in the evening. I'd put some fruit in it or berries or whatever. And I got a really bad sensitivity to yogurt, to Greek yogurt. It was a high quality Greek yogurt. It just used to really upset my stomach after a while because I overconsumed it. And that's the thing. Any too much of anything, even a good thing, can become a bad thing. So yeah, I like what Ivy's saying here. She sort of goes through what WPI, then she's got some egg protein, and so I think that mix it up a little bit and throw some beef collagen protein in. Just be aware that it's definitely not as effective at triggering muscle protein synthesis as WPI. The science and research is very, very clear on that. And if you're not gonna use whey protein, then definitely fortify it with some isolated leucine, and that'll get you out of trouble. As for the isolates, all that's doing is really removing the fats and the calorie, and it reduces the calories, increases the protein per gram. So the dosage is pretty good. So I like the isolates. I'm not one for wanting to gain heaps and heaps of mass. But if you're a bodybuilder and you want to put on a lot of weight, then your general protein or your casein or whatever is probably going to be better for that. I know most of the women I've trained over the years prefer the isolate because it does reduce the total daily calories.
I use isolate.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Just, Yanni, give me a sec. And we do have a few questions to get through here, so we've got to make sure we've got enough time for them. For whatever reason, your mic was not working when I shared my screen, and I'm just going to quickly fix that so that doesn't happen again. Just give me a second here. Display. Can you speak now? Oh, there we go.
Right, I am speaking, yeah.
Right, yeah. Okay.
We go live to our mentorship group straight after this at 9:30 to answer their questions and give them coaching feedback on any exercise videos that they've posted. Of course, the mentorship group is a top tier inside the app. You've got to be a member of the app already. And we only take 10% of the app members. So at the moment, the group is capped at 25 people. And of course, they're in there to optimize their physical performance through technique optimization with our coaching and feedback through the videos they post, their diet optimization with the Nutrition Fundamentals and Nutrition Academy, and also mindset mastery, learning how to maximize.
So they didn't hear the first half of that because, as I said, I was trying to work out why your microphone wasn't working when I went to a different scene. So, okay, so let's get on to Ben's question now, and we've only got 13 minutes left, so we've got to get through a few questions here. I've taken 5 grams of creatine daily for a long time. And I'm 40 pounds heavier at the same body fat level ever since I started years ago, which I assume is mostly lean mass gain. Is there any point in trying to increase doses to 7.5 grams of creatine per day?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is a really good question. And I love questions about creatine because there's a plethora of good research available on PubMed and, many other good sources. I've brought up an article from Dr. Lane Norton on this one, and he talks about, is there a need to load creatine? Because loading, it's definitely more effective. What is loading? It's where you take 4 times the daily dosage for 5 days. Now, some people complain that it gives them stomach cramps or bloating. That's certainly a possibility. And if you don't want to load it, then it takes about 2 to 3 weeks of a regular maintenance dose to start to have an effect on your performance. I don't think there's a day that goes past that someone doesn't mow a bloody lawn next door or blow leaves up and down their yard. Uh,
Good
so
times.
there's actually some really, really good free resources online that you can use, creatine calculators. And the dosage the majority of the research, to my knowledge, is done on 5 grams per dose of creatine monohydrate. Because that was sort of the rough standard for the athletes that they were using. And they've done studies with much higher doses and found that the weight of the individual increases through water retention. And so the 5 grams was the sweet spot. But if you dig a little bit deeper into the research, that's for a 90-gram individual. And if you go up to a 90 kilogram individual. So myself, I weigh exactly 90 kilograms at the moment. So my ideal dose is 5 grams. But if you punch into one of the calculators, and I've tested 3 of the calculators online, they all say the same thing. If you go up to 100 kilograms, your preferred dosage goes up to 8 grams per serve of creatine. So it is definitely something that's affected by body weight. And so if you want to get really, really particular on this, I can link a couple of these creatine calculators in the description of this video. But it is definitely something that is affected by your weight. But I don't want you to get too hung up on that. Like if you just follow the 5 gram magic number, that's totally fine. For someone like Ben, I know that he's heavily invested in his performance and health, and he's absolutely crushing it. He's been a member of our tribe for quite some time now, and he's experienced a massive transformation in his physical capability, so strength, flexibility, and fitness, but also his size. He's an absolute beast now. I saw a video of him overhead doing a seated behind the head press. I think it was like 75 kilos for reps. And so in Ben's case, yeah, absolutely. If you want to continue on this journey of optimizing athletic performance, and creatine is one of the gold standard supplements to do so, then depending on your weight, brother, you can slowly increase the dosage a little bit. It's just that it gets a little bit funny because the serving utensil that they usually give you inside a creatine container is usually exactly 5 grams. So you've got to kind of, what are you going to do? Like heap it? Are you going to weigh it? Like, so it gets a little bit particular. Myself, I've got a set of like really, really heavily calibrated sensitive jewelry scales in my kitchen that I can measure this stuff with. But you'll have to do something like that similar. I'll happily link the websites that I've got up here. I've also got a couple of good PubMed studies up that I can link if you want to really dive deep into the weeds on this one. As for the type of creatine, and this is, as far as I'm concerned, has not changed. Creatine monohydrate is the gold standard. It is 100% more effective than any of the other fancy names that you're going to see, the ethyl esters and all this crap. As far as I've seen, the only thing that goes up or increases is the price with the other versions. Creatine monohydrate is the gold standard. It is what I use. It's what we recommend, and it's what I would stick with because it is the best bang for your buck. It's actually, way more cost effective than the rest of them. Have I answered those questions, Rad? I think he's out there with his son mucking around.
No. Sorry, I'm back. My son's just off to daycare, and he wanted to give me a cuddle before he goes. So yes, you have. There is another question from Ben though. When do you use pea protein and leucine instead of whey, and why? And we've got a
Well,
few questions to get through. So
yeah, I answered that at the start.
okay,
If you've got a sensitivity to dairy, then that's a good reason. You know, if you want to cycle your protein, that's another good reason. You know, which you should do. You know, remember, any too much of anything becomes a bad thing. So you do want to try and cycle your protein sources, and I think that then whey is a great
pea protein.
pea protein is a great substitute. You just got to remember, you just got to take into consideration the quality. And there are some arguments that the vegan proteins have heavier trace metals in them that can become sort of toxic in really high doses. But man, you'd have to consume a lot of it. I don't know, how much we should be concerned about that. You get crap in the water you drink, the air you breathe, everything. So just be aware of that. Try and get good, high quality sources of everything, and you should be all right. What's next? Let's power through this.
Ben, again, in terms of microbiome and gut health, does it matter whether the first serve of daily protein is whey or another whole food source like protein, source protein like fish, meat, or eggs?
Okay. Good question. Not something that I'm, amazingly up on the science on. But what I've seen some people really enjoy is when that collagen protein seems to be really good for the gut. It helps to because if you fast for a long period of time, you actually start to eliminate the mucus layer in your digestive tract. It just starts to pass through and break down because you're not really using it. And I've heard people talk about the collagen protein helping to reline the digestive tract. All I know is that you probably don't want to consume something really highly acidic or really heavy on the gut first up. And that's why I break my fast every day with a smoothie, and the smoothie has my protein in it. That's why I've got the collagen protein. I add a little bit of that. It's a pea protein, a little bit of collagen protein. I put some creatine in there. I put some glutamine in there because glutamine is really great for the gut. I have 3 different types of fiber that I add. I have rolled oats, I have psyllium husks, and I have a sort of an LSA mix or an almond meal mix. And then I also put a little bit of what else do I put in there? Yeah, leucine, of course. L-glutamine. What else is there? Carnitine, and I put a banana in, or some berries, or some mango, and my protein. That's it. Yeah, and it's an absolute banger of a meal to break the fast. It's really nice on the gut, and it seems to go down really well for me.
I remember when I asked Ben this question. So Ben Pekulski is an ex-Mr. Olympia bodybuilder. He's a friend of ours. And when the last time that he came into the gym and did a workout with us, I asked him this question. I said, what kinds of protein do you use and when do you have them? And he said that he has a whey protein powder once a day, a WPI, and a collagen protein once a day. And I asked him why, and this dude knows so much about protein and nutrition.
Got a lot of skin in the game.
Yeah, he's got a lot of skin in the game, and doesn't he have quite a high level of education as well?
Yeah,
Yanni doesn't.
Yeah.
And I can't remember his exact reasons for it, but it was basically, Ben, it wasn't around the specifics of you should have your whey protein at this time and your collagen at this time. I'm pretty sure that he said he has his whey after his workout and then his collagen later in the day. And it was really just for the diversity and for the reasons why Yanni has already said, this is why you should have a collagen protein and this is why you should have a whey protein. But there was nothing specific about timing for it, if that makes sense.
No, there's a little bit of research that indicates that creatine should be taken with some carbohydrate, some glycogen. It gets absorbed into the body better, but that's why I put it with my smoothie, because I have a banana in there, and that's totally fine. Yeah, and then really the only other discussion you want to have is, are you going to load creatine? And if not, just expect that it's going to take a couple of weeks to really start to work for you. There's many health benefits to creatine. We're uncovering more and more about it, and it's good for brain health now. That we've sort of come to the conclusion that it's really good for cognitive function, all sorts of stuff. So the last one we wanted to talk about today is caffeine, and caffeine is something that is one of my favorite performance enhancers. It's heavily researched. And the only thing with caffeine is that you've got to really understand that if you're a slow metabolizer of caffeine, which some people are, like myself, it can really affect your sleep. And sleep is the number one performance enhancer on the planet. If you can get more sleep, more high quality sleep, so it's a mix of laying down in bed for longer or having a kip throughout the day, or improve the quality of your sleep, make your room colder, make the airflow better, maintain clean sheets, does actually contribute, remove electrical devices from the room, get enough light stimulus throughout the day, and then shut the lights down at night so you're not triggering the proteins in the eyes, behind the retina that sort of wake you and arouse you. All these different things that you can do to hack the system to get better sleep quality. That is the best performance enhancer on the planet. It's also said to be the best weight loss drug on the planet. If you're trying to lose weight and you've got bad sleep quality, good luck, because it's linked to all sorts of degenerative diseases and weight gain. So sleep should be your number one priority. And how did I get onto that topic? I just completely lost my train of thought.
Caffeine.
Coffee, caffeine. So if you're drinking a lot of caffeine throughout the day to boost your workout performance, but it's affecting your sleep, it's a complete waste of time and money, So for me, I have to cap my caffeine I'm having my second cup of caffeine. I try to have 2 to 3 before I go to do a workout every day. But if it can't happen before 9 or 10 in the morning, that's it. I'm done. Otherwise, it really heavily affects my sleep. And the other thing is, too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing. So you need to be able to cycle your caffeine. If one of our good friends, Dr. Tony Battaji, put it this way once: if you use caffeine to get up to baseline, then it's become a bad thing. So you need to cycle it. You need to go off it, and then you'll become sensitive to it again. And watch what happens to your workout performance if you don't. So Lane Norton did a great talk about this once on a podcast. He said that I only use caffeine when I'm building up to my peak week for training. So at Unity Gym, we used to do learning week. We used to have 2 phases of ramping up volume and intensity. And then we had peak week as week 4, which was the hardest. We'd go to failure. And Lane uses caffeine really strategically through his training cycles so that it really has an effect on his performance. Because if you're using it every single day, then you become really, really efficient at metabolizing it, and you become caffeine adapted. And then it really doesn't help that much. It helps a little bit still, but not as much as if you're not caffeine adapted. That's it. Boom.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Thanks, team. I hope we got all your questions answered. From what I can see, we did. If you've watched this through to this point now, please do us a favor and yourself a favor and put any questions that you have for us in the comments, because not only does it help us with the algorithm, but it helps us with these shows. And when we don't have questions to answer, Yanni and I start thinking about, well, what do we want to talk about? What do we want to help you guys with? And in my opinion, for you as the audience, that's not nearly as valuable as what Ben and Ivy and Vinny have done here for us, which have answered some questions, which we hope we've been able to provide some value on this. And, to reiterate, this show certainly wasn't meant to be in any way a plug for our partnership with VPA Supplements, but it's turned into another supplement heavy show because people were asking questions about it. And I'll just remind you, if you're not aware of this, the reason why we've partnered with VPA is because of the quality of the supplements. They're really incredibly high quality and at a very cost-effective price. And if you use the link in the description of this video, enter the code RAD10, RAD10 at checkout, you'll get 10% discount, which, you know, if you bulk buy your supplements like we do, that would more than enough pay for the shipping that you'd have to pay for if you were over in the States or in the UK or anywhere like that. And the truth is that Australian grass-fed whey is, along with New Zealand grass-fed whey, the highest quality in the world. So if you really want the best stuff, which if you're going to be training to the levels that somebody like Ben is, then you really want to be putting the best stuff in your body.
One of our tribe members asked that, actually, I believe it was Clay, because it was about $60 postage to get it to America. And he said, is it really worth it? And I will absolutely say, if you've got the budget, it absolutely is. Because what you get in the protein, like you're taking something that's a superfood that's meant to be enhancing your health. And if it's not from a good source, if it's not well-sourced protein, then it's probably doing more. Remember, you know, it's probably doing more damage than good. So
VPA does really good discounts on protein the more bags you buy as well. Like when you buy 2 bags, you save $9. When you buy 3, you save everything. So when people complain to me about international shipping, there's a part of me that kind of thinks, well, welcome to life in Australia.
Yeah.
That's what we pay for.
Everything we get is usually from either China or America, and it's just, you know, it's something
it just goes hand in hand. If you buy something, you pay for shipping. Anyway, that's it, guys. Get your questions in. Like and share the video, please. Subscribe to the channel.
I'll link a couple of good resources in the description once we come off live. And keep the questions coming.
Yeah. And if you're new to the channel, we do shorts daily. Every 6 days a week I do shorts, and then one long form piece of content a week on Thursday. So check those out. They're really, really good value. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you next time.